What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Sam's Report. It is it's the middle of the month. We are rocking and rolling without a Redstone 4. We've got stuff going on, if you will. We've got people moving about. We've got people going all over the place. But as always, welcome back. I'm happy to have you here on a recording a little bit earlier. If you're wondering why there's no live show today, just some personal conflicts of things going on, and I never want to miss the show because I appreciate you guys tuning in. So it will be a little bit quicker today. There's no questions and answers and all that good stuff, but there is a lot to talk about a little bit here. A lot to talk about a little bit. I'm on off to a good start. Spring has arrived. I've golfed and I'm in a good mood. But let's rock in, shall we? Microsoft launched a new centralized management tool for Windows Server and Windows 10 this week. You may not recognize that name or that headline potentially, but you will recognize Project Honolulu. Microsoft has rebranded that, and it's an admin center. It's the Windows Admin Center. It's all sorts of good stuff. You can manage Server 2019, Windows 10, and you can do it from the web, and you can do it securely. And so for people who are working in like hybrid scenarios and all that good stuff, this will be a big win for them, and it'll definitely help out. So go check that out if you haven't done it yet. Microsoft is also overhauling the personal accounts, kind of tied in a little bit to that, but not really. Your Microsoft account is now getting fluent, and the website is being updated to make it just look a lot better and help you uncover your stuff, which is interesting timing. I don't think there's any correlation to all this stuff, but obviously the stuff going on with Facebook this week, with Mark Zuckerberg testifying in Congress and security becoming, or encryption and privacy and all that good stuff coming to the forefront of the conversation, which I think is a good thing. I absolutely think it's a good thing because companies like Google and Facebook and a lot of others that use advertising it can get a little creepy, and it can. And so having the ability to have finer grained controls over your personal life, and we have things in the EU like GDPR coming fast and furious, it's time. It's a good conversation to have. And so Microsoft updating this stuff, it's good. I don't think there's any relation, maybe to GDPR possibly, but anyways, it kind of gets you thinking about how Microsoft can position themselves in this arena. Because if you think about it, Microsoft, yes, they do make money off of advertising from Bing, but it is by no means a primary driver of revenue for the company. And it almost makes you wonder if that's the bent the company should go down, is a more Apple-like approach where they just focus, and not that they don't focus on security. In the enterprise world, they do a very good job with that. But I think they could take it farther with the consumer by all means, offer better encryption, just better practices and policies for the user, and become a more trusted company in that regard because, again, they don't focus on advertisement as a primary means of revenue, which means that they can do and get away with certain things that, for example, Google might have trouble with, or Facebook would have trouble with, because they depend on that type of information. And so I hope to see Microsoft capitalize upon this type of movement, and I'll be curious to see how things shake out. There was also happening this week, there's a new build of Redstone 5, 17643 for those keeping track at home, but the Office apps now work with sets in Windows 10, which is good. I mean, you can have tabbed Excel to your heart's desire and all that good stuff. But it brings up the question of where the hell is Redstone 4? When I did this podcast last week, I was under the impression, based on some insider birds, that the Spring Creators Update would be coming out. Now, I shouldn't call it the Spring Creators Update because I don't think Microsoft's going to call it that. I'm actually fairly confident they aren't going to call it that. But obviously, Redstone 4 1803 is not here, and we are closer to, well, 1805 by the time Monday rolls around. And technically, we're in the middle of 1804, 18 being the year and 4 being the month is how Microsoft does it. That's my super secret way of talking in code. It's kind of like when you go to the dentist and they're poking through your teeth and they have all these random numbers and digits. Microsoft is a little bit easier to understand with 1803, and that was a very random analogy, but there you go. So I believe there was pretty much a show-stopping bug that appeared last minute, final hour of validation that I don't know if it occurred only in the last build or whatever, and they've actually recompiled it, and I think there's going to be another new build. And yeah, so interesting. I think we all kind of thought it would be out now, at least in some form or another. Microsoft's been unusually quiet about it, but I'm hoping that maybe next week we'll hear something. And for those of you who are not on any release preview, if you're on the release preview, you have it. If you're not, if you're like me and you're totally on the outside world, yeah, you should hopefully be hearing something soon, because I do want to install it, but I don't want to jump through the rings because I need my production machine to be production for that matter. And so if you're in that boat, we got to keep on waiting just a little bit longer. It's just odd. It really is just odd. I thought Microsoft would be more transparent about this stuff, but they just went through a massive reorg in the Windows thing, and now this is kind of like the first big thing that's happened is, crap. And, well, here we are. So that's that. Surface Pro 4 picked up, finally, on-screen Surface dial support. Oh, I can't grab my dial. It's back behind me a little too far. But if you have a Surface dial, it now works on the screen of the Surface Pro 4. And Microsoft is also hacking off $150 off of certain Surface Book 2 variants, I believe in the 13-inch variety, which kind of, it's a little soon. But, you know, if you're looking to do that, buy one of those machines, there you go. I wonder if it has any relation to the Intel putting out new chips and Microsoft maybe trying to clear stock, although it seems a little bit early that they would do a refresh of that hardware. But I would absolutely welcome it. I wouldn't be upset by any means if they came in and slapped new chips in there. And so if that is your jam, then you can go grab one of those for a little bit less. Even less if you're a student. So there you go. Cortana is also getting the ability to read messages aloud. I know this was a big thing on Windows Phone, and many people kind of missed it when when Windows Phone went away, and now on Android only as of right now. I don't know if it would be possible on iOS, but on Android only in beta, Cortana can kind of bring back some of that functionality, and I believe it will automatically read Bluetooth messages aloud if it's connected. Did I say Bluetooth messages? I don't even know. I'm way off today. It's been an awkward morning. Cortana will automatically read messages if connected over Bluetooth in your car or whatever, and that should make quite a few people happy. And other things just kind of rolling out this week. Apple's HomePod apparently isn't flying off the shelf. Not a big surprise, but it does kind of make you wonder when you look at like Microsoft's Invoke. Well, I shouldn't say Microsoft. Harman Kardon's Invoke back there. Obviously didn't sell too well, and the fact that Apple's thing isn't selling too well, you know, it just kind of goes to show that just because Apple builds it doesn't mean it's going to be a home run. I do suspect that it will eventually sell better once they make Siri much more functional. Once their baffling move of not supporting Spotify. I know they like to lock you into their ecosystem, but even that's kind of overly aggressive. And so you can't stereo pair it, and I'm still all Sonos at this point. I don't actually see myself ever buying a HomePod. But yeah. So HomePod's not a home run, but we'll see. Apple's got enough cash to ride this wave out until this thing becomes a success, and we'll see how it is. And kind of just wrapping up the back of the book here, folks. Like I said, short show because I've got just a crazy morning ahead of me. Microsoft is announcing build sessions the week of April 23rd. I know that quite a few of you have said you're going to build, although I don't believe it's sold out yet, which is still kind of crazy. And yeah, Microsoft, as I kind of said last show, Microsoft needs something to build to kind of put a little bit of energy back into their step, if you will. Because people are kind of bummed out with Windows going whatever. There's no mobile and all that stuff. And yeah, so April 23rd, the nice thing when those sessions go live is if you kind of poke and prod through them, you can see some of the announcements. They will keep some of them behind closed doors until they actually do until they announce all the stuff at the keynote. Then they say, hey, come see these sessions. But there you go. April 23rd, we'll get another little bit of insight. And finally here, my good friend Walking Cat on Twitter has uncovered a lot more of this cloud clipboard stuff. And I think it's going to be much bigger implementation than maybe we kind of realized, which is a good thing. It looks like it's going to cloud clipboard across all your Windows 10 devices. There's actually policies. It says allow clipboard synchronization to access devices policies in Windows 10. Sorry, geez, I'm screwing this up. Let me try that again. Allow clipboard synchronization across devices. This is a new policy in Windows 10 build 17643. It says if you enable this policy setting, clipboard contents are allowed to be synchronized across devices logged in under the same Microsoft account or Azure Active Directory account. Kind of speaks for itself that if you're on any Windows 10 machine and you're under the same Microsoft account, you will be able to grab your clipboard contents anywhere, which is exactly what we want. So that about wraps it up for today, folks. Like I said, no questions. Next week's show should be, I hope, back to normal. And yeah, have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and we'll catch you right back here next time on the Sam's Report.